Where are the people coming from who are now working as process architects?
To be honest, they're coming from very different educational backgrounds. And actually, for myself, I don't care about the educational background. So for me, I'm looking at the core competences from a process architect. For me, it's more important that the person has good analytics so that he knows how to put information together. Then we have a lot of interaction with other departments. So it's very important that the person is a good communicator, so that he's able to communicate on a high level, so on the management level, but also on the shop floor level. But also on the other side, it's not only important to be a good talker, but also to be a good listener. Because sometimes it's that a person is telling you that he wants something, but sometimes it's that he doesn't know what he really wants. He just thinks he knows it, but when you're talking about the topic with him and then you're asking the right questions, then you're getting to know that he wants something totally different.
Welcome to the New Process Podcast. Learn all the tools, methods, and best practices combined with people, emotions, and a human-centric mindset to rethink your process and push it to the next level. And here is your host, Mirko Kloppenberg.
Yeah, welcome to episode 18 of the New Process Podcast. You asked for it, and here it is, an interview with a real process architect. Today's guest is Christoph Bünker from Lufthansa Technik Logistik Services. Christoph is not only a process architect himself, he actually leads an entire team of 8 process architects. When I'm talking about the role of a process architect, I'm talking about the role supporting the process owner to design, improve, implement, and steer a process. So if the process owner is accountable for all these activities, the process architect takes over the responsibility of the execution, so with regards to RACI classification. You may also call this role something like a process manager in some organizations, but in the new process role concept, this role is called the process architect. Yeah. And I'll put a link into the show notes with more information on to the role concept if you're interested in. So, Christoph is head of the Global Process Management Competence Center warehouse at Lufthansa Technik Logistik Services in Hamburg, and he is doing this since 2016. Lufthansa Technik Logistik Services is a member of the Lufthansa Group, providing logistic solutions for the maintenance, repair, and overhaul business. Where are the people coming from who are now working as process architects?
To be honest, they're coming from very different background, educational backgrounds. And actually, for myself, I don't care about the educational background. So for me, I'm looking at the core competences from a process architect. So from my point of view, and I'm currently also in a recruiting process, like all the time, since I'm the leader of the team, kind of, because there's always a mixture of people leaving because they found new opportunities, and also we get more things to do and new things to do, so that we also need more people. And for me, it's more important that the person has a good analytics so that he knows, how to put information together, because there is a lot of information and he needs to be able to evaluate the information, to put it together in the right way, and also to see the information. Then, if you already have seen, we have a lot of interaction with other departments. So it's very important that the person is a good communicator, so that he's able to communicate on a high level, so on the management level, but also on the shop floor level, and also that he's able to put his information very tightly together, so that the other person is able to understand what he's talking about. But also on the other side, it's not only important to be a good talker, but also to be a good listener. Because sometimes it's that a person is telling you that he wants something, but sometimes it's that he doesn't know what he really wants. He just thinks he knows it, but when you're talking about the topic with him and then you're asking the right questions, then you're getting to know that he wants something totally different.
In interview, Christoph may sometimes use the abbreviation LTLS for Lufthansa Technik Logistik Services, as well as LHT for Lufthansa Technik. So just keep that in mind. Before becoming the head of the Competence Center, Christoph has worked as process architect for warehousing and shipping since 2014. Before joining the Lufthansa Group, Christoph studied information systems at the Technical University of Darmstadt, and he worked for the Otto Group in Hamburg as a project manager for process and system development. So, in this episode, you will learn more about how the life of a process architect looks like. Christoph will provide detailed insights into the tasks of a process architect and how they are executing the process lifecycle for their processes. So we're covering a lot from process strategy, process improvement, implementation, process trainings, process steering, and overall coordination. So also, for example, how they cooperate with their counterparts at the different warehouse locations, as well as how they cooperate with the IT department. And he will also provide details on how they apply process mining. And that's not all. This episode is really full of exciting insights. We'll also talk about qualification requirements of process architects. And Christoph will share his top 3 tips for new process architects.
And now, let's start to rethink processes.
Yeah, welcome, Christoph, to the New Process Podcast. I'm super excited to have a real process architect here in this show today. So, welcome, Christoph.
Thanks, Mirko. I'm also very excited, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, but we will see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. So it's your favorite airline here. You know, you're an airline guy as well. So let's start with a check-in. What do you prefer in an aircraft, aisle or window seat?
To be honest, I like more the window seat because I like at least to have the opportunity to view out of the window. Also, if I'm not doing it always on all the time, but there's at least the possibility to look out of it. And that's very important for me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And what is your favorite airport?
Oh, favorite airport. When I'm thinking about it, so directly in my mind actually comes Munich. Also, I'm from Hamburg, but I like the airport in Munich very much because for me it's very well organized, structured, and also very clean. And what I also like very much at the airport in Munich is that the security control is always very fast, and for me it's also running very smoothly all the time. So I've never been there waiting for, like in Hamburg and Frankfurt, like half an hour just to go to the security control. There's more very fluent, and that's very, very happy for me.
Yeah, that's true. I also prefer Munich compared to the other hubs. Very good. Okay. And what was the best process you have ever experienced? And
that's
maybe this is not the security.
Yeah, but actually, if it comes to me for the best process, for me, the best process is a process which runs very smoothly. And there are not a lot of interruptions or no interruptions. That's the best process. And when I'm thinking about it, actually, in Munich, the security control is running very smoothly, as I said. So, and wherever you can feel that there's a flow in it and that you don't get stuck, then this is a kind of a good process. But there's not this one single process which pops into my mind where I'm saying, okay, this is the best process I ever experienced. So to be honest, so if I'm coming when you're talking about fluent processes, it's also when you're going now to one of these burger restaurants where you can doing the self-order. For me, this is also kind of very smoothly because you can order by yourself and then you just wait. Yeah, there you have some waiting time, but yeah, they have to prepare some meal. But still, it's very fluently that you order, then just wait, and then you get your meal and you know what to do, and you just follow the process and it's working.
Yeah, that's true. I thought you were going to answer your own process is the best one you've ever experienced.
No, I never would do this. That's not my personality.
Okay, very good. So let's get closer to the topic of processes. And how would you describe your own relationship to processes?
My relationships, you can have a relationship to processes. That's interesting, actually. So from my point of view, it's that I'm within my working experience, I'm very much linked to processes all the time. So also when I started working to the Otto Group, so they also started working in processes, thinking about processes and also about process like flow of things, flow of information, and also what are people doing there within the process. So these are the things which, followed me all the time during my work life after Otto, also at Lufthansa Technik Logistik Services. So there also was every time linked to this process stuff. And for me, it's very interesting just to make this transparency so where I can see, okay, There you have the process, and as I said, how's the thing flowing or the material flowing now within our logistics, and also are the information flowing, and how is this accompanied by the people so that they know what they have to do. So they've accompanied me my whole work life. So okay. I must like them somehow, otherwise I wouldn't work with them so much and so long.
Yeah, that's true. And as I already said, you're a process architect. I would say you're one of the most experienced process architects I know of. And you actually had the process management competence center for the warehouse processes of Lufthansa Technik Logistik Services. And you lead 8 process architects in your team. So you're not process architect just alone. You have a whole team of process architects. How does your setup look like within the team? What is your process, the process owner, the architects? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Actually, to understand the setup, I would just start first to understand, okay, what's actually the LTLS doing? So how are we working? How are we within the framework? So what are our processes for? Because what we are doing, we are the logistics provider for the LHT and also for the Lufthansa Airlines. So in concerns of aircraft material. So you can think of, okay, if there is maybe one airplane and you want to fly with it, and they are saying, yeah, okay, we have to wait because we have some damage on some parts. They never would say this, but when they're saying, yeah, we just have to wait and check the airplane. So when the mechanic is waiting for the material to be able to repair the airplane, so then we as LTLS, we are the ones who are bringing the material to the airplane of the LH Airlines. And also on the other parts for the LHT, it's more that they are repairing aircraft parts within their workshops. And we are the ones then bringing the material to the mechanic there so that he can repair this aircraft parts. And out of this, as you know, we have airports all over Germany. So where we are located, where also the Lufthansa Airlines are working. And so also the LTLSs have different locations within Germany and also all over the world, where we are fulfilling and doing all logistics stuff. So, and just to be able to make it to assure that we have standard processes within all these organizations, when within the LTLS there was created a Competence Center warehouse, which is then responsible for all the processes which are run in the warehouse. So, and also my boss, he is head of this Competence Center warehouse, and he is also the process owner of all the processes now linked within the warehouse. So in total, I think what he's telling all the time is it's more like 140 or a number like this processes where he is currently the process owner. And also, so it's quite a huge amount of processes where he is fulfilling this role. And that's also why we as a process architect are doing quite a lot of stuff, and the process architects are coming out of my team. So my team is then responsible for this MRO logistics, and we have a neighbor team of my colleague, and they are responsible for this airline logistics. So they are describing the process for this airline logistics. So there are also some process architects in her team. And we are dividing up this description of all the warehouse processes. And due to the fact, as I said, that our process owner has such a huge amount of processes, our process architects are really the ones who are driving the processes and who are really within the process and also developing them further and looking into a lot of details there. So that's the way how we are doing it, and where they are taking over some things where normally the process owner should come in, but there's no possibility for our boss to be able to do this. That's also why we are now thinking about restructuring this and to start to hand over some processes to some members of our teams, where we are also starting to bring in a new role, where we have now currently this process architect roles just within our team, and then we have a new role of one person who is more like, then this person is the design responsible, for example, for the inbound area for the warehouse processes. But this is currently just within the start, where we are thinking about, okay, how can we make it a little bit smoother and also get some work from what's done by other people, so that there's also that we are the process owners really able to do this and really knows what's happening in the process in detail more. So we have process owner, process architect within our teams, and on the other side we have Also within the different branches, as I said, within LTLS, we have branches in Hamburg, in Frankfurt, in Munich, in Berlin, Cologne, Düsseldorf, Stuttgart. So there we have people who are then named the process managers, who are then representing the needs of the branches. So they are we have a close cooperation with them together, so that we know, okay, the people from the branches are telling us, okay, what's working within the branches, what's possible there, what are the people who are working there within the process, what are they capable of doing. And we are coming from the general side, where we are thinking about, okay, what does the customer want? What does the legal department want? What do we need from the process side? What requirements do we have there? So that we then, within a collaboration, we elaborate the processes together, and we also make them better in the future. So we together design the processes, and we also together improve the processes.
Okay, with regards
the biggest setup to.
Yeah, perfect. That's super interesting. Good to understand. Good to know for the understanding, to understand the background as well. So with regards to the role of the process architects, what are the major tasks there of your employees?
So for the process architect, as I said, he is the person who needs to know the requirements for the process, and these are the different requirements just out of the legal departments, out of the customers, so that he knows what does this process need to be fulfilled, or what in the end of the process, what needs to be done, what needs to be the result of the process. Not only the physical result, but also within the IT systems. Because if we are coming to logistics, the processes and the IT systems are very tightly linked together. And also, as we are very tightly linked with our customers, for example, with the LHT, also our process architects need to know, okay, not only, okay, physically, now for example, the material has to be packed and it has to be shipped out, but we also need to know, okay, which informations do we need to send back to the LHT so that they know within their systems also the status of the process. So that they also have the transparency, okay, yeah, this process is now finished and we have all the information which we need to be able to fulfill the needs of our customer. So it's a really linked and combined system where you need to know quite a lot of things, not only the process, how it's done on the physical work floor or on the shop floor, but also to know, okay, what's in the background behind it and how is the linkage with the other processes where you have a connection with your own process. And there comes the complexity in. And this is also when we are talking about complexity. So normally we are thinking about complexity. It's more like, yeah, on the one hand, it's the process itself. So like when you're talking about, okay, how many steps do you have within the process? How many different decisions do you have within the process? And then the second complexity comes out of, okay, with how many people do you have to interact? So how many different roles are working in your process, and how many different people from like how many different branches are fulfilling the process. So this is also something where our process architects are talking with the different branches and they're talking with them over, okay, does this process fit for you, as I said. They have interaction with the process managers to also align that the process is fitting for everyone, kind of. And that they are also being able to fulfill this process and that the people are being able to fulfill this process. And the third complexity is then, okay, with how much other processes does this process interact? For example, if we are coming to a shipping process, then yeah, you have the shipping where you're telling, okay, yeah, we have to pack the material, but you also have a connection, for example, to all the export control stuff, to all the customs stuff, where you need to assure that you are also fulfilling these legal processes. And there you have a linkage, okay, how do you send information over, what information do they need, and how do they interact there? And this is also something what the process architect needs to be aware of, or needs to assure that this linkage is still fitting when he changes something within the process. That's kind of the role, from being the master of his process, and also to know, okay, where is the link, my process linked to other processes, what do they need to know, and also on the other side, what do I need from the other processes to be able to fulfill my process in detail and in total. And
okay.
Our process architects are on this global level, and on the shop floor level, there comes the process manager in.
Yeah, okay. Before we go into the details, how you cooperate with the process managers, how do you proceed in general to improve your processes? So more with regards to the yearly schedule, how do you prioritize the topics and so on?
That's a tough question, because for us, if you're talking about improvement of the processes, there's a lot of stakeholders who are interested in improving the processes. So on the one side, there is the operational department who is working with the processes, and the people who are working within the process, they always have ideas, okay, how to make the process smoother, because they also experience where are the interruptions. So they have also ideas where they can say, okay, yeah, this doesn't work smoothly, so there we need to change something. So there come people then with ideas where they're saying, yeah, there we need to change something. This has to be done differently. Then on the other side, you have the customer who has ideas where he wants to change something because he has new ideas, he has new customer requirements from his customers, so needs to be fulfilled by the process. So also there are coming out some requirements. Then there could be some changes within the legal departments where you also get some requirements out of there. And on the other side, we also think about digitalization. So we also out of our team are thinking about, okay, how can we make the process better? How can we improve it? Just also with ideas which we get from, for example, from other companies where we have been looking into, okay, how are they doing their processes, so that we from ourselves are thinking, okay, how can we make it more smoothly? So and all these different ideas are then coming together, and we have to think about, okay, with which topic do we now start? And this is actually currently the hard part, because there you have to tell someone, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, you have a nice idea, but in comparison with the other ideas, it doesn't have such a big impact. So yeah, you have to wait a little bit. And this is, as I said, the tough part. And now we also, after the Corona crisis, we start to set up a framework like we had before the Corona crisis already started, but not really build it up. So then the idea is that we have a framework where we are saying, okay, we have a meeting together with the board leaders of our company. So where we are aligning the company goals with the warehouse goals, so that we know, okay, what are the warehouse goals for this year? So what are the topics which we really want to focus on, so that we have there an alignment on this level. So and out of this, we are doing a meeting together with with the leaders of the different operational areas, like the leader of the inbound sections. So we bring all inbound leaders together. We bring all leaders of the shipping areas together. So and there we are talking over, okay, this is now the common warehouse goals, the warehouse goals for this year. So on which topics do we need to focus? Which topics are there from your side? Which topics are there from the customer side? Which topics do we want to proceed on for this year? So that we also there have a common strategy and alignment, okay, on which topics do we want to focus? Because by this we focus our common strengths, so like our central strengths out of the process department, and also the strengths of the locations, the process managers, together on focusing, okay, which topics do we want to tackle this time? And not everyone is just going on his own, but we have a common view on it. And the last portion is that we also have a bi-weekly meeting then with the process manager side, so the production engineers of the operational area, where we are then bi-weekly talking about really the topics which are coming around and really the topics we are currently facing. And this can be small topics. We are talking about, okay, yeah, we have this idea, this improvement idea out of the operations. In Munich, this is also an idea which we can use for Hamburg. Does it fit together? And this is something how we now want to start this framework just to make sure that we have a common picture on what we want to work on and also have a common prioritization. Okay. Hopefully it will work.
Yeah, it sounds like a good approach, and there is a lot of coordinating and aligning all the activities as one of the tasks for the architects. And
we are also doing this because we have experience. So like within this Corona crisis, at least the Lufthansa was a little bit harder struck by it. So also for us, it was more like that the different areas also started to think about, okay, how can we improve on our own? And there also the communication ran a bit down. So it's more like that everyone was looking for himself, okay, how are we going to make things better? And now we want to, again, to start the communication and to start the cooperation to have one common alignment there. And that's very important for us.
And as soon as you have agreed upon a topic you would like to implement, how do you then proceed?
It's always depending on the size of the topic. So if it's just a small topic, well, then we just, we are thinking about, okay, how do we want to do it in the future, just to design an idea about it, to make a concept about it, how it shall be done in the future. Then we are, if there needs to be something done within the IT departments, then we are talking also over with the IT departments. And putting it into the IT systems and then just doing the change. And if it's a bigger change, so like where you have a lot of effort in and where you need a project, then we are starting a project within our company where we are thinking about who is the project manager. Can it be the person of our team who is then in a kind of a double role as the person who is driving the improvement and also the project manager, or is it better to have a separate project manager who is then just running the project, and we can focus on improving the process and designing the functionality which we need there, and focusing on the functional part more. So this is always depending on the size of the change which we have there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And with regards to implementation, are you also designing trainings or things like that to, inform the employees or enable them to execute the new process then at the end?
Mm-hmm. Actually, we currently have taken over also the role for the standard trainings of our process and IT systems. So like for each new person who is coming into the company, so we are then doing the trainings currently because the area of experience is very important for us to do the trainings. Before it was done by an external department, and then there we realized, they are informing about how to run to do the work within the systems, but they don't give the information about the background. Okay, why is it very important to do this stuff? So why is it very important to stick to this process? What's behind it? And we experienced that it's much more helpful for the people that they know not only what to do, but why to do it. So why is it important to press this button and what is going to do with this information? So, and then that's why we have taken over the training in total for the new people. And also out of this, if we are running a project, they are also, it's depending on the size of the change, as I said before. So if it's really training is needed, then we will take over the training there. If it's just a small change, then also it's more like that we are putting up some information sheets, for example. So an information sheet which we are then sending over to the process manager, and who is then informing the operational people within their shop floor meetings. So in the shop floor meetings are each day. So there they get the information for all the people. Okay, what is now different? What has now differently to be done? What we also tried out and was also very well accepted by the people. We started to make, for example, as I said, it's very much IT related on our side. So we started to make, for example, a training video. So where we showed, okay, how do we need to proceed in this, how's the new procedure to be fulfilled? And we shared this video then with every person working in the operations, working in this specific area where he needs to do this stuff. So this is also very much appreciated because they said, okay, it was very good and helpful because you could look into this video, and also later when you're in your work and when you realize, okay, there's something which I have forgotten, then they could again look into the video, just skip to this to the time where this topic came up, and look directly into it. Okay, how was it done? What was now the training? What is now the training saying? What's to do there? But this is also much more effort just to do this training video, as you might understand. And so we're just thinking about, okay, depending on the size, on the impact of the change, we are taking the appropriate media to inform the people and to train the people.
Okay. Talking about process trainings just reminds me of the episode on gamification, which I published 2 weeks ago. Have you already thought about gamifying the training process there, or the trainings in a way like the people are really going to play a role play, for example, to experience how the logistics processes look like, how to perform these activities?
To be honest, not yet. And I've just, I think it was today when I was skipping to my LinkedIn contact there, I saw also this podcast about gamification. I thought, this might be interesting, and I haven't not yet found the time to listen to it, but I will definitely do it and see what's in there. Because also from my point of view, it's very important to have pictures for the people. So like when we are talking within our one meeting last time, so we have, for example, we have the receiving area within our warehouse. And the receiving area is a very important part because there our people are also checking the certificates. So if this material which is coming over has a correct certificate and is being able to put into an aircraft. So from my point of view, when I'm talking about pictures, I always come up, I don't actually know the English word. I came up with this picture of a Türsteher at a discotheque. So the person was there standing in front and saying, yeah, okay, you get in and you get out. Because this is a picture where the people can relate to, I hope, so that they know, okay, they are the people within the receiving area who are saying, okay, this material is good, so you can come in, and this material, no, you don't fit with us. So there is something wrong with you, so you go out and you stay out, because otherwise we get problems. So and this is, I think, very important, just as also to play with pictures and to talk with pictures, because they get the emotions, and then it's easier for the people to think about it and that it's staying in their mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can already pick that up, because then the people really understand what they contribute to the process, and to the purpose as well. So make sure that only the right parts get into the system and the others stay out. And that's way more emotional than just checking if the documentation and the parts are okay.
Yes. And this is only the thing, what you are doing, but you don't know why you are doing it. And it's very important that you're talking also about why you are doing it. This is also what I said, why we took over the trainings, because there we can now also tell the people why they're doing it. And if they know why they're doing it, they are doing the work in a better way.
Yeah, that's cool.
You see, to your topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super excited about the idea of gamification there, and but let's get back to your work as a process architect with regards to the life cycle. So after training the people implementing the process, what are you doing to steer the process execution? Is that also on your list as well, to have an overview of what is going on at the different locations, and how do you interact with the locations then?
The steering part is now slowly coming into our windows or into our part of there where we are responsible. So up till now, it is that the location itself is responsible, so that the process is fulfilled, that the people are working it in the right way. So, and up till now, also from my point of view, we don't have the right tool to be able to track, okay, if the processes are fulfilled out in the right way. So, but now we started to look into this big field or huge field of process mining, and there we started to find a tool for us where we can say, okay, yeah, this tool will help, or at least we are sure we have the big idea or the trust in it, that it will help us to find a way, okay, if the processes are fulfilled in the right way. So because with this process mining, there you can define, okay, within this process we need this timestamps to be fulfilled in this order. So and if you are putting then this data into this process mining tool, then you can realize, okay, yeah, 50% of this processes are missing one timestamp. And then you can realize, okay, why is this timestamp missing? And then you can start to talk with the people, why is this timestamp missing? And this thing is also bringing us to the next level, because what are we doing up to now? So up to now, it's like that the process managers, they are within their locations and looking, okay, how's the process fulfilled? Do they experience something? And also we sometimes are visiting the branches and looking, okay, how's the process fulfilled? Is everything done correctly? But if there's a person looking at it, normally the worker is doing it in another way than if there's no one looking at it. And also, there's no offense to it, but he has just more, that he's more focused on the work, because he knows there's someone looking. And it's not like, yeah, okay, it's now the fifth time that he's doing the same stuff. No, now someone is looking, so he pays more attention to it. So if he's not doing this, then, and if we are just looking at this pure data, then you get much more information out of it. Then you also can say, okay, yeah, there we are missing something. So why is this missing? And then you can realize, okay, is it a process topic, or is it more that the people don't do the step or whatsoever? But then you can start talking about it. And this is also where we want to start with this tool, to make this possible for us to also to create KPIs about the qualities of the processes, that the processes are fulfilled in the right way. And we already have started this year with 2 processes where we started to think about KPIs just to get timestamps out of the systems, but it was very hard to get the data and then to put it into Excel to do the analysis and stuff like this. And that's why I'm hoping that with this process mining tool, it's much easier, much faster, and we can also put it just on board so that everyone can just look it up daily. Because the other way it was just done weekly, because you needed to do something with Excel, and yeah, you cannot do this daily in the work currently.
Yeah, that's good to hear that you're already using process mining, because this is one of the, I would say, higher maturity level features to use as soon as you really understand your process and you work on it. I definitely see the benefit of mining the processes and to get ideas on the performance on the one hand side, as well as ideas for improvement on the other side. And then you still have to implement that. But do you already have experience with implementing changes based on the learnings of process mining, or using this for automation?
Not implementing, but we have started this process mining for our branches within the US. And there we had the experience that we put up this as I said, which timestamps do we want there, which timestamps in which order do we want them to have there. And there we already could find the experience that I realized, okay, for this branch, this timestamp is always missing. Why is it like that? Then we talked it over with the people there from the branch, and there comes out, okay, for this branch, just this timestamp is not applicable. And that's totally okay also for us from a global perspective, that then we say, okay, we don't need this timestamp out of this branch. And then the good thing is that within the tool, you can say, okay, if there's processes coming out of this branch, then it's totally okay if this timestamp is missing, and it's not putting an error anymore. It's saying, okay, the process is now accurate. And that's very, very cool and very, very important. And as I said, that we could already have experienced these first glances about, okay, what's going on there. And the first connection with this process mining tool was even before the Corona crisis, when we had an improvement idea where another department wanted to improve a process, and they also used the process mining tool. And then they realized, okay, that's interesting, because out of the data they realized there were sometimes that it was like that one driver was kind of driving in a circle with the material. So he was picking it on the one part, then driving in the circle, putting it there, then driving again, and then one other person was picking it up into this part and putting it again where the person first picked it up. So it was that you realized, okay, they created some kind of a circle, and out of this we could make the improvement just to get rid of the circle and to make it in a different way, so that it was running smoothly. Yeah. And that's also an idea where I said, okay, there must be more within this data if we elaborated this on a bigger surface, on a bigger level, and also with different processes.
Okay, that leads me to a completely different question with regards to the profile of a process architect. Which educational background? I know you are an information system guy as well, same as I am, but in your team, are these all somehow IT-related profiles, or where are the people coming from who are now working as process architects?
To be honest, they're coming from very different educational backgrounds. And actually, for myself, I don't care about the educational background. So for me, I'm looking at the core competences from a process architect. So from my point of view, and I'm currently also in a recruiting process, like all the time, since I'm the leader of the team, kind of, because there's always a mixture of people leaving because they found new opportunities, and also we get more things to do and new things to do, so that we also need more people. And for me, it's more important that the person has a good analytics, so that he knows, okay, how to put information together, because there is a lot of information, and he needs to be able to evaluate the information, to put it together in the right way, and also to see the information. Then, if you already have seen, we have a lot of interaction with other departments, so it's very important that the person is a good communicator, so that he's able to communicate on a high level, so on the management level, but also on the shop floor level, and also that he's able to put his information very tightly together, so that the other person is able to understand what he's talking about. But also on the other side, it's not only important to be a good talker, but also to be a good listener. Because sometimes it's that a person is telling you that he wants something, but sometimes it's that he doesn't know what he really wants. He just thinks he knows it, but when you're talking about the topic with him, and then you're asking the right questions, then you're getting to know that he wants something totally different, and then you can elaborate this together. But for this, it's very important that you are a good listener, listen closely to what the person is talking about, and they are realizing, I'm always comparing it with, you get a big portion of meat, but you don't know what does this person want out of this meat. So does it want the steak? Does it want the burger or whatsoever? And this is something that you need to elaborate with just good listening and good talking with the person. So that's the second part, which I think is very important there. And actually, these are the most important parts, to be honest.
Okay.
And IT knowledge helps, yes, because as I said, it's very much linked to IT. But when you're bringing the other two things, you can also work without IT knowledge or IT background.
Yeah. Okay. So you are not the ones really working on the IT systems. You're talking to the IT guys working on the development of the applications. And how do you interact with IT?
From us, so we have this role as functional responsible for the IT systems of the warehouse. So we are the ones who are designing the processes for the IT systems, and we are also putting the requirements for the IT systems. So each requirement, for example, which is going to our warehouse system, we've at the end look at it from a functional side. So, and we look into it and thinking about, okay, does this fit to the way how we want our system to be developed in the future from a functional side? Does this fit to our overall strategy? And if we say, okay, yeah, this is fitting, then we are handing it over to our IT colleagues and talking also the topic over with them. And together we are then creating the solutions, okay, where we are saying, okay, yeah, we functionally need this. Are we able to do this out of the system? What could be the good solution? And then we are talking together, okay, what could be a good solution for this functional requirement? Because sometimes it's that you have a requirement and then you realize, okay, yeah, we are using standard SAP, and standard SAP is not able to do this, but we could do it in a different way, and then you are together finding a good solution normally. But there we have a very, very close relationship, a lot of meetings, also regular meetings together, where we are talking about how we want to develop the IT systems in the further way and how we want to use them.
Okay, cool. That's good to know, because that's often a question: who is driving the development? Is it based on the activities of the IT or of the business or the process guys? And that's why I think it's really important to work as close as possible together.
Yes. And I think also, I totally believe that you are driving the business from both sides, because we have good ideas, but also our IT guys have good ideas. So now, like also today, they experience that, for example, the users have always questions about this or this topic, or that they realize, okay, we have a lot of tickets concerning this specific topic. We need to do something there. We need to change something there. So this is also very good input. And then they also have good ideas when they're thinking about, okay, how can we change it? So, and also love to talk with our IT guys, because as I said, they're clever guys and we have really good ideas. And sometimes it's like that I'm saying, yeah, okay, I understand the problem of the user. I have no clue what to do. And then I'm talking it over with some IT guys and they're saying, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it like this.
Yeah. Cool. That's perfect. Okay. So we already covered a lot. What would you say? What are your 3 top tips for new process architects?
So for a new process architect at the start, so when you start your work, you really get to know your processes. So that's also what we are doing for people who are starting within our team. It's very important that they work within the processes they are responsible for. So that's also why we are sending our people then not only to one branch where they get to know to the process, but also to different branches, because there could be slight differences. So that's very important. And also when you are in the other branch, then you also build up your network so that you also know the people from the other branches and get to know the people you need to talk to when you have some questions for the other branches. So, and during this work, within this process, it's very important that you are listening to the people who are working then in the process, that you really understand what are their problems, what is good for them, so how are they really working within the process, what helps them, that you also get to know the attitude of the people who are working within the process. What kind of people are this? Because there you also have different people with different backgrounds, and also within our processes we have also different processes for more educated people and processes for where you need lower qualification, lower educations. So that's, I think, also very important that you know, okay, what can I expect from the people working within the processes? What are they capable of? And there's no offense on this, but it's like that you need to know, okay, yeah, I'm just paying this amount of money from a company side, so I can just expect this from the people that they are capable of this. And I think it's very important that you know within your processes, okay, what are the people capable of working within the process, and that you understand your process by part. This would be the first, but it was actually quite a long topic. The second tip would be that you always need to stay curious and make sure that you really understand the problem, as I said before. Yeah, it's not always that the person telling you something knows really his problem. So that's why you need to get to know to it and need to listen to it and need to talk about it. And also don't rush for the solution. Take your time, understand the problem, because otherwise you solve the wrong problem and that doesn't help anyone. And that's why it's also very important to stay curious, because then you're always asking good questions and there are no wrong questions. And also for me, I think I'm 10 years within this company, and I think it's now 8 years working within the process department. I also learn something new about processes which I haven't experienced or known before. So you always get to know new stuff.
Yeah.
And the last tip would be, as I said in the beginning, that you need to make sure that you at least have a rough understanding about the end-to-end process in a total, that you don't only look at your portion of the process, but have the big picture, as said, that you need to know what's within my process, what is my process for, so why does the company need my process, that you understand the big picture of everything, because otherwise you could just do something for your process, but in the total picture it's something very bad, which could improve your process, but as I said, in the total picture, it's more badly than for the whole end-to-end process. And that's why you need to have understanding of the end-to-end process and what's the portion of your process within this end-to-end process. That
cool.
would be the last tip.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much for these 3 tips. That's super interesting, and I really love the role of the process architect. For me, that's the driver of improving the process, pushing that ahead, and making really sure that the process can be executed in the reality by the employees in a very good way. And this is also the topic I'm talking a lot about, how to inspire the people for process and how to rethink process to get to more human-centered BPM approach, as you know. And to wrap it up, what is your key message to our listeners to rethink processes?
From my point of view, is that you need to keep track of the whole system within your process. So, and for me, the whole system of your process is like, to keep track of what are the requirements for my process, what are the systems doing which are supporting my process, and also what are the people doing within my process. Just that you need to align the whole system and not just focus on one thing.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, cool. Is there anything we have missed with regards to the life of a process architect, which you would like to share with our listeners?
Sometimes it's a hard life. Because as you said, you kind of are the driver of the improvement of the processes, but it's, at least what we experience is also that it then comes to the topic that you are included in kind of a lot of topics. So like that, for example, that one person of my team is included in 3 different projects, but just with a smaller portion, because she's not working 100% for the project, but just putting also her expertise within this project, and that you need to know, okay, I'm working within this project with 20%, within another project with 20%, then I also have my routine topics, and just to handle everything together. And that's always hard, to be honest, and always, really topic where you need to be capable of doing this. But it's also very interesting because each day is differently. So if someone is asking me, okay, what are you going to, how's the normal day like of a process architect, I would say, I cannot tell you, because there is no normal day life. You could experience everything, like from a telephone call from one person just asking about something, a topic from process, and we need just some information. And on the other side, you could be sitting out of a project in a room together with 10 other people, designing new processes on a whiteboard. So, and there's this whole bunch between everything, between this. And just to put this, to keep the strings together, that's actually kind of the hardest work. from my point of view.
Yeah, that's true. I remember because I was working as a process architect in the past as well. And I really love the different aspects of this role. And there's a lot of fun doing that for sure.
That's true.
So cool. Where can our listeners go to if they would like to learn more about what you're doing in your role as a process architect or as your team? Is there a way to get into contact with you?
Just feel free to contact me via LinkedIn. There you can, I think you're supporting this on LinkedIn, so there's also I'm also there. Just go to my profile, send me a message, and we can start to start the contact.
That's straightforward. No Very good. Yeah, cool. And to sum it up, because we already landed this episode, yeah, that's cool. We covered all the topics which I wanted to talk about. So thank you very much for that. But looking into the future, is there anything like a topic, a method, a tool, an expert that you would recommend to having a closer look at, to have more ideas or to get more ideas on how to rethink processes?
From my point of view, it's actually this topic of process mining, because we create so much data within our processes with timestamps and everything, but currently we are not capable of evaluating this stuff. And with this process mining tool, you are able to evaluate these numbers and this data, and there you get much more information and new information which you would never have thought about or even seen before, from my point of view. So I would definitely tell you, just try this out, go into this, look what your numbers are telling you or what your data is telling you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So maybe it was in one of the next episodes, we're going to deep dive into process mining. That's a good idea. Thank you very much for that recommendation. Cool. So before we leave the aircraft, how would you describe our flight experience with just 3 words?
Interesting. Actually, I don't know the English word, but kurzweilig.
Yeah, okay. I looked that up later on. I don't know.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool. Me too. It was super fascinating to review all the activities of the role of a process architect. So thank you so much, Christoph, for providing all these insights, for being my guest here on the New Process podcast, and looking forward to interacting with you in the future as well. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's recap today's new process inspiration.
Yeah, what a flight was Christoph. And I promised to look it up. So he described the flight with 3 words, which were interesting, kurzweilig, which means diverting or entertaining, and he enjoyed it. And I also really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm so happy to provide all these insights to you. And I'm hoping that you also enjoyed the conversation with Christoph here. As I already said, the role of the process architect is part of the new process role concept, which I'm using at newprocesslab.com. And the concept was developed in a joint research project of Lufthansa and the University of Bamberg. So all the research papers are publicly available, and I'll put the link into the show notes as well. So when we started to implement the concept at Lufthansa, these people, which are now today known as process architects, were completely invisible. So for sure, some of these real experts were known, but their work was often not seen. But in the meantime, real positions, full-time equivalents, or even organizational units of process architects were established. And this is so crazy to see how this developed and how this role was implemented in the organization. And I see it coming up in other organizations as well. So for me, the role of the process architect is key to the success of the implementation of a BPM framework in an organization. And I would really say that I love process architects. So thank you for listening to this episode. To provide you an outlook, there is another tool episode coming up, as well as an episode on process strategy. And after following Christoph's recommendation here, I'll also try to get a real process mining expert on the New Process podcast. So let's see. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye and auf Wiedersehen.
You've been listening to the New Process Podcast. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode for more tools, methods, and best practices to rethink your process and push it to the next level. Thank you for listening.
Okay, before you leave, if you are a process architect and would like to learn how to start rethinking your process, I can recommend using the New Process Checklist, which you can download for free by going to newprocesslab.com/checklist. So just try it out and start rethinking your process. Have a great day. Bye-bye.